Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and welcome to another edition, a modern edition of Meme or Dream, the series where we take decks, post on the internet, and put them to the test and find out if they're a meme or a dream. And today we're heading to Modern for a incredibly wild, infamous small Japanese tournament deck. I'm not sure what to call this deck. I'm calling it Hellcarver Demons because Hellcarver Demons really the card that drew me to play this deck. It's been on my Modern bucket list for a while because it's just such a ridiculous old janky mythic, but it's also kind of a demon deck. It's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So let's talk about this ridiculous pile, jump into a Modern League, find out if it's a meme or a dream. So we start off with some graveyard fillers. These cards are really important to the plan of our deck. We got Otherworldly Gaze, Tome Scour just to fill our graveyard as quickly as possible because what we really want to be doing is cheating big, mostly demons into play early in the game. So for this we have Persist, reanimates a non-legend, Goryo's Vengeance, reanimates a legend with haste, goes away into turn, Young Necromancer, 5 mana but it can reanimate anything. We also have Heartless Summoning, so if we can't pull off the reanimation plan, our graveyard gets shut down or something, we can use Heartless Summoning to just cast our demons at a 2 mana discount. Sure, they're a little bit smaller, but whatever, they're so big it doesn't really matter. So that's kind of our support cards. As far as what we're cheating into play, this is where the deck gets a little bit weird. So we have Persist, that reanimates non-legends. We have a lot of legends in the deck, but we do have Hellcarver Demon. That's our best Persist target, and definitely my favorite card in the deck. So Hellcarver Demon, 6 mana, 6/6 flying. When it hits our opponent in combat, we sacrifice all of our other permanents, we discard our hand, and then we essentially get to look at our top 6 cards of our deck and cast any number of them for free. So super risky. It can just like make us sacrifice all of our stuff when we hit a bunch of lands or something, a bunch of mill spells, but it could also just win us the game where we hit a bunch of big expensive things, make this huge board. So that's kind of our primary Persist target. Then we have our legendary reanimation stuff. Goryo's Vengeance can get back Garuda, which can reanimate other even mana value things like a Hellcarver Demon or a Dragonlord Slumgar. Grizzlebrand, pretty good even if it's only around for 1 turn. We can play it, hit you, gain some life, draw a bunch of cards, kind of refill, stock our graveyard. Dragonlord Slumgar, not sure why this is in our deck exactly, but it's kind of sweet. It's big-ish, and it steals one of our opponent's creatures when it ETBs. And then we have a couple of big delve threats. So since we have all these Otherworldly Gazes and Tome Scours to fill our deck, I guess the idea is we just like cast a 1 mana Tasigur, or cast a 2 mana Tombstalker. Tombstalker, also a demon, used to be a really good card like 15 years ago. It actually saw legacy play, kind of been power crept out of Magic more or less by other delve spells, but it's cool to see Tombstalker again. As far as the mana base, the initial deck, I will say I made one update to this deck. The initial build of this deck was all basic lands and also some snarls. That was the entire mana base. So I updated to just kind of like a typical Modern mana base because the original mana base was super jank. The sideboard, also really weird. So we get Patriarch's Bidding, which I guess can theoretically reanimate all of our demons, which is cool, although part of the problem with the deck is it's pretty reliant on the graveyard. So if our opponent has graveyard hate, we kind of get shut down. Patriarch's Bidding also gets shut down by graveyard hate, so we'll see how good it is. Sheoldred, Necropolis Regent, just other big creatures. I kind of forgot that Necropolis Regent existed. Definitely was not expecting it to show up in a Modern sideboard, but I don't know. I guess it can get pretty big. More Slumgars and Sora Temptations. I guess the deck really wants to steal its opponent's creatures for some reason. Soul Guide Lantern for graveyards. Languish looks really weird. Normally you play like Damnation or something, but Languish does have some upside that all of our creatures are big enough that they pretty much survive Languish. So it's kind of a one-sided pseudo board wrath, and that is Hellcarver Demons, and that's our meme or dream deck for this week. So let's jump into a Modern League and see, can we actually win with Hellcarver Demon in Modern? Is this ridiculously inconsistent looking pile a meme or a dream? Let's find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy the absurdity of this deck, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some Magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. It is Hellcarver Demon in Modern time, and well, these hands don't really do anything. We kind of want some reanimation and a way to fill the graveyard. You know what? I think this we keep. We keep this. We put back a land and a Hellcarver Demon. And we see if Otherworldly Gaze / Tome Scour can get us where we need to go. Pound it. Ragavan? Well, the good news is we shouldn't have anything too good for our opponent to steal from our deck. Let's just Polluted Delta. We could Otherworldly Gaze to like put something bad on the top of our deck, but I think our entire deck is bad for our opponent, so I think we just let it go and then full on Surveil. Opponent steals a Tombstalker. This deck's so jank. Good old infamous small Japanese tournaments. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Well, let's crack Polluted Delta, grab a island, Otherworldly Gaze. Well, mill and mill and mill. Reanimation, please. Oh my god, that's a persist. Unfortunately, Garuda's legendary. So new plan. So we could persist a Tombstalker. That seems bad. Let's Tome Scour. Well, you know what? Let's not Tome Scour ourselves. Let's play a Bloodstained Mire. We just don't want to get Thought Seize. That's the main thing I'm worried about here. So we can do it this way. We pass the turn. We take the hit. We can flash back the Otherworldly Gaze. Next turn, we could Tome Scour and persist. We just need to not lose this persist. And steals... Well, okay, Otherworldly Gaze. Wow, opponent is going to Otherworldly Gaze. Interesting. The upside of this for us is it puts it in our graveyard, so it gives us another gaze. So what are we looking for the most here in our deck? It might just be Hellcarver Demon. I mean, I guess we can reanimate the Tombstalker, although it doesn't seem great. Found it. Urza's Saga. Oh, it's an Asmore deck. There's a cookbook. Well, crack the Bloodstained Mire. Grab a Schwamp and flashback Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard. I think we keep another persist. Play a Tuara. Tome Scour. Mill 5. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we persist the Tombstalker. Go 4/4 flyer. Well, at least it's not in Bolt Rage. So much work for a 4/4. Oh, they have a Profane Tutor suspended. I totally missed that. Found it. Profane Tutor. Well, I could definitely find an answer to the Tombstalker. They can also get an Asmore. Yeah, one of the awkward parts about this deck is we have all these reanimation spells, but Persist only reanimates legends. And if you look at our deck list, we have like Dragonlord Slumgar, Garuda, Tassiger. Hellcarver Demon is really the best non-legendary reanimation target, as wild as that sounds. Opponent gonna crack the Marsh Flats. And grabs a Schwamp. Will we win a game with this deck? That is the question. Opponent gonna go attacking. I mean, we are gonna kill the monkey, I think. If they like bolt the Tombstalker, then I guess they get us. All right, bolt the Tombstalker. Opponent passes. Well, we will Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard. Top. Well, let's get down the Tassiger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The non-legendary restriction on this is so brutal. All right, we have a Tassiger now. I mean, this is essentially against the odds Hellcarver Demon. Undercity Sewers, Polluted Delta, you go to the graveyard. Go. Let's see what you got, opponent. They get to start making big constructs, which those big constructs probably an issue. Opponent, construct. Boy, Tassiger is not what it used to be, is it? He needs more bananas. Our 6-drop is not good enough to keep up with the constructs. They're just bigger. Opponent gets more cookbooks, plays more lands. Their constructs get super big too because of the cookbooks making food. All right, we need a top deck here. Come on, Magic Gods. Come on, Magic Gods. Bloodstained Mire is not the top deck. Well, we can... Oh my god, this is so jank. Reanimate Tombstalker again? Main deck Surgical. Yeah, I think we're actually just dead now. Because we have to chump with the Tassiger, and there's nothing in our deck we can draw that actually keeps us alive, so we're going to scoop. We should have scooped before they looked at our deck. Matriarch Spitting. Are we supposed to put that on Demon? I guess we're supposed to put that on Demon. Oh, I wish Persist. So I guess the idea is Goryo's Vengeance can reanimate our legends. Persist can reanimate our non-legends. We just happen to like draw the wrong mix where we drew a bunch of Persists, but we drew a bunch of Persists, but milled a bunch of legends. No Hellcarver Demon. Asmo Food. Do we need the Soul Guide Lantern? What happens if they Well, we can probably go down Tassiger or Dragonlord Slumgar. That doesn't seem great. What a weird pile of magic cards. So we're going to bring in Soul Guide Lanterns. Necropolis Regent. Shieldred. I mean, Shieldred does answer... Well, no. The thing with Shieldred is we can play it, but if we reanimate it, it's going to be with Goryo's Vengeance. So it's not going to stick around. And we can't get it with Garuda. I guess we could hit it with Hellcarver. 1 Tassiger and 1 Necro. Try it like that. We got Goryo's Vengeance. We need another land. We can surveil for it, theoretically. If we want to surveil, we can't Tome Scour this turn. If we Tome Scour, we can't surveil. We really need land number 2, but we also need cards in our graveyard. I think we're dead. It's a Leyline of the Void. Hellcarver Demon. Wait, did our opponent keep 0 land Leyline? I think they did. All right, so we need to find lands in Heartless Summonings. Oh, all right, because our hand is pretty dead at the moment. Play the land, pass the turn. If we find Heartless Summoning, we could just ramp into our stuff. If our opponent never draws a land, it becomes even easier. Bloodstained Mire. Get a Undercity Sewers. Surveil for not a Goryo's Vengeance. That's going in the graveyard. Opponent discarding the hand size. Yargle and Multani. What is happening? Well, Island. I think Gerudo does work through Leyline, doesn't it? Found it. Discards the hand size. What a weird match. We draw Bloodstained Mire. That's good. Okay, maybe we can... Oh boy, Heartless Summoning this hand would pop off. Opponent. Not a land. What a risky keep. Discarded another Yargle. Undercity Sewers. Surveil. Tome Scour Graveyard. Found it. Got discarded hand size. Thing is, we only have 22 lands in our deck, and we've already used a lot of them. All right, so we will pass. We will Otherworldly Gaze here just to try to find lands. Wait, opponent discarded another Yargle and Multani? What is their hand / deck / life? Bonnet, Blood, Crypt, Thoughtseize. Well, we will Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard, top. Are we gonna lose to an opponent who didn't make a land drop until turn 5? Infamous small Japanese tournaments. You never know. Our opponent did have a Leyline. And the Leyline is worth a huge number of cards. Opponent takes the Hellcarver Demon. Perhaps the first time that has happened in the history of Magic. Play a land, pass the turn. All right. Well, we got a Gerudo. We got a Task. Oh, 2 lands in a row. I think our opponent's cheating. Hacking. Our opponent's hacking. I just want to win a game. I just want to win a game with Hellcarver Demon. That's it. Can we just win a game with Hellcarver Demon? Blood Crypt, untap, down to 12. They're probably doing something scary. If you're playing Yargle and Multani, you're trying to do something scary with it. Profane Tutor says, can we draw a land? A land would be so nice. Untap, please. Just untap land. Land number 6. Nope. Tome Scour. Should we start milling our opponent? Probably not. I imagine they have things to do with their graveyard. Boy, I wish we had a Heartless Summoning. That would make life so much better. Yeah, because Garuda, put a creature from among the milled cards. Garuda actually works. If they steal a land here, I'm going to be so salty. That sounds like something Ragavan would do. Ragavan's mean like that. About it. Come on. Steal some big thing. Well, we actually kind of wanted the Otherworldly Gaze. That would have let us find a land, most likely. Opponent picks up the monkey. Can we draw a land? No. Soul Guide Lantern. Tome Scour our opponent. Haha. That was 5 lands. What is this game? Tome Scour our opponent. Oh, they were going to draw so many more lands. Soul Guide Lantern. Oh, it's the Cremator deck. I see. Well, let's just snipe the Cremator. Maybe we're a mill deck. Are we actually just a mill deck? I don't know if I've played a game of Magic where both decks did so much nothing for so long. not in a while. Opponent. Profane Tutor. Well, I imagine they're getting something good. Maybe we milled what they wanted to tutor up. It's possible. Dashes Ragavan. All right, no land stealing. Steals. Oh, our precious land. Oh, do I hate the monkey? All right, let's sack this. Draw a card. Tombstalker. That's a dead card. Seriously, Ragavan. It's gonna be like that. Oh, Castle Lockwade. Boom, boom, boom. Garuda. We did it. Garuda Mills. We get a Hellcarver Demon. Pass the turn. We have a Hellcarver demon on the battlefield. We are no longer getting hit by the monkey. They gotta have a handful of removal, right? Probably. Or we just die to a cremator opponent. Marsh flats. We actually have exactly 12 points of damage. Although if they play Ragavad, they can chump Garuda. If we hit with Hellcarver, I don't even know if it's good for us. Opponent, Ragavad. Is it even good? Cracks Marsh flats. So if we hit with Hellcarver, we sack all of our other permanents and discard our hand. And then we can cast our top 6 cards for free. It is risky. Oh, are we just dead? No, come on. You got 5 cards in hand. We're not dead. We're not dead. No. All right, just Agorio's Vengeance. That's fine. That's fine. Opponent tried to spin it to win it. Hellcarver. Oh, it's Hellcarver time. It's Hellcarver time. There is no fear here. Well, there's a little lot of fear here. Well, I mean, we're going to do it, though. Go to combat. Here goes nothing. I mean, we said we wanted Hellcarver Demon, and Hellcarver Demon we will. Get him with both. Opponent's got to chump the Garuda. All right. Sack everything else. Discard our hand. 6 cards. We get another Hellcarver Demon, a Tassiger the Golden Fang, and a Garuda. Oh, that might be enough. Is Hellcarver Demon broken? Did we do it? Garuda whiffs. Second Hellcarver. All right, your go. We did it. Do we win with Hellcarver in Modern? Wait, is this infamous small Japanese tournament deck actually genius? Did they break it? The reverse flawless victory? Magic is such a great game. What a world we live in. And about it. Scoops it up, cannot beat our mighty Hellcarver Demon. My goodness, does our opponent have a lot of graveyard hate? I am very concerned about that. Our deck does not believe in answering graveyard hate, apparently. But yeah, I mean, none of this stuff answers graveyard hate. So I guess we hope they don't have it. Like, I mean, in our dream world, what we really would like is just to have the Heartless Summonings. That would reduce our risk. If we can have a Heartless Summonings and not get it Thought Seized, that would mean we could just win by casting our things, which would be way easier. You know what interesting idea I had for this deck? I just had this right now. What if this was a coffers deck? Could you do like a hybrid coffers / all this other jank? Oh, they kept 7. They're going to have Leyline. I don't think we can keep this. Like if we keep this hand and they just drop Leyline, we lose. Well, this is not that much better, but okay. Ooh, no Leyline. Well, I guess we showed we could win through a Leyline. I can probably get graveyard hate off of that, though. All right, opponent passes. We will Polluted Delta, correct? Polluted Delta for a island and Tome Scour ourselves. Go. And there's a Hellcarver. I mean, is this a nut draw? Could we do it, opponent? We saw Surgicals, too. We know they have Surgicals. They got to have some sort of graveyard hate. Opponent's going to Surveil. I mean, we are going to go for it. What else can we do? Mill's a Cremator. Well, I mean, land. We gotta go for it. Persist, Hellcarver. Do you have it? Oh! Okay, pass the turn. Live! Please just live. Please live, Hellcarver Demon. Hellcarver should be tough for most decks to kill, right? Or are they just gonna kill us? Okay. Well, that's awkward. Huh. Well, you know what might be better than reanimating a Hellcarver Demon? Reanimating a Emrakul the Eon's Torn. Today we learned. Well, that's another persist. We can try it again. Pass the turn. I mean, we didn't die. We lost our Hellcarver and all of our lands. Our opponent's going to make a Karnstruck, though. That's going to be the issue. They're going to make a Karnstruck that we can't beat if they have a land. If they don't have a land, who knows? Well, I mean, Castle Lochwain. Persist the Hellcarver Demon. Pass the turn. Is their construct going to be big enough to kill the Hellcarver? Probably. Oh, opponent cracks the land. Urza Saga is a messed up magic card. Overgrown Tomb untapped. Construct. And discards. Oh yeah, definitely is going to be. Yeah, we're dead. We won a game with Hellcarver Demon. We also survived an Emrakul attack, at least for a minute. So the problem is here the same as before, right? Like, we have triple Urza Saga. Oh, well, opponent just had all the answers. Yeah. Well, you know what, opponent? You're reanimating Emrakul. Boring. We won a game off you reanimating Hellcarver Demon, so who's the real winner of this match? I ask you, YouTube. Please say me. Do we keep this hand? We got two big things. They don't do anything. We do have a Castle Lockwain and a Gaze. Ooh, okay. Let's put Garuda to the bottom. I think we actually got to put Hellcarver to the bottom. Triple black's a lot. So we actually have we have a Heartless Summoning. We can also Tome Scour into the Goryo's Vengeance. But first, I think, oh boy. Yeah, we got a Castle Lockwain. Play the Castle Lockwain, pass the turn. A little bit awkward because it means we can't Tome Scour into something to Goryo's Vengeance next turn. Opponent, Blooming Marsh. And, oh, this has got to be Yogg. Well, play an island. And I think we just Tome Scour. Mill some cards. Ugh. Tassiger? We don't want to Goryo's Vengeance Tassiger. That doesn't seem great. Opponent cracks. Japan and your Wild Brews. About it. Bring Catacombs. Schwamp. And. Oh god. Fulminator Mage. Well, we drew a land. That's something. Bloodstained Mire. Crack it. Get a swamp. And I think we actually just flashback the Otherworldly Gaze. I really don't want to reanimate Tasker with Goryo's Vengeance and hit for 4. That seems absolutely horrible. Opponent, Misty Rainforest. So what's your prediction, YouTube? Will we win a match with this deck? It's been a while since we've had is this just Yogg? Oh no. It's been a while since we had that is just Yogg. It's been a while since we've had an Over. So we'd really like to mill a Garuda or a Grizzlebrand. That would be the best. Nope, another Hellcarver. Hellcarver, not being legendary, actually very awkward here with this Goryo's Vengeance. Well, I guess we Heartless Summon and go. We might just be dead, though. Usually opponents untapping with Yogg means death. Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots. There's definitely some awkwardness with the reanimation package of this deck. It's very awkward that Persist only hits non-legends and Goryo's Vengeance only hits legends. That leaves us in some awkward situations when we mill the Hellcarver but have the Goryo's Vengeance, or vice versa. Cordex. Well, if they have Young Wolf in hand, and this is a Young Wolf, we're dead, right? They just go, Haywinger might kill the Heartless Summoning. Jerk. All right. Well, there goes the Heartless Summoning. I don't know what our plan is now. So I'm not missing something here, right? Our only legend, we have a Tassiger, and that's it. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we Tassiger. At least it's sort of a blocker. Go. I mean, they have Yogg, though. Yogg is so strong. That's kind of the issue, right? Is even if they're not going infinite, they can still sack their jank and draw a bunch of cards and find something. Kind of funny that not being legendary is a big drawback at the moment. Playing it conservative, passing. I mean, I guess we're not doing anything, so. Slumgar. Well, we will pass the turn. I'm surprised they're not sacking stuff to their Yogg to draw cards. I mean, I guess we're just doing nothing, so there's no rush for our opponent to actually make game actions. They could be hitting with the Yogg. This is a human. Ooh, okay. That's a better one. Hellcarver, go. All right, opponent. Can you beat it? No. You got another chord? Oh, they're going to draw cards, and I mean, at some point, they're still just going to go infinite. Sacks, shrinks the Tassiger. All right, your go. Are they going to try to proliferate them away? That would be awkward. Yeah, Yogg is really kind of busted. Proliferates. I mean, technically, we only need to get in a hit for 1 with this Hellcarver Demon. I don't know if that's going to happen. I kind of doubt it. Well, now everything can be a Fulminator, I guess. Fulminator Soul Calder is pretty funny. Thankfully, we don't draw lands anyway, so can't get us with your Fulminators now, can ya? Can't blow up the lands if we don't draw any lands. It's that thinking head meme about it. Gonna sack and shrink. I mean, this shows the power of Modern Horizons, right? The single Yawgmoth is beating 2/6 drops essentially on its own. We really just want to get in this Hellcarver Demon attack opponent. Wall of Roots. Oh, it would have been so cool. Opponent finds the Young Wolf, sacks it, shrinks it. Aw, doesn't even really seem fair. When it comes down to it, our opponent just essentially wrapped our board by drawing infinite cards. Opponent finally realizes protection from humans is a thing. Gets in. for 2. Well, we're not really doing anything. Undercity Sewers. All right, let's surveil a Grizzlebrand. That would be sweet. Hey, that's a Grizzlebrand. Wait, no, Egg of the Soul Cauldron. Oh, no. Oh, we're so dead. Wait, we're just going to scoop, right? We're just going to scoop. Well, you know what? Let's make him do it. Graveyard. And you know what? We might be able to do it if we get the timing right. Let's pass the turn. So what we got to do, we got to wait until they activate the Soul Cauldron. And then in response, we can Goryo's Vengeance, the Grizzlebrand. If we're alive. Not a guarantee. Shieldred. You know what's pretty good against Grizzlebrand? Shieldred. Attacks. Yeah, I think the Shieldred is the seal deal. Opponent plays a tap land. I mean, our opponent has drawn essentially their entire deck. Another Tasigur. Get drained. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's play the Tasigur. Not that it even really does anything. Yeah, Soul Cauldron's really good against us. Our opponent's playing it to combo in their deck, but it also has the upside of hardlocking our deck. Yeah, all right, we're done. We can't do it. We could have got back to Grizzlebrand, but it doesn't even do anything because we can't activate it because of Shieldred. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern shuts down our opponent's combo, but does it? The sideboard. This is one of the goofiest decks I've ever seen. I do not know what this person was thinking. This Necropolis Regent. Oh, Necropolis. Maybe we should be trying to Patriarch Spitting. Patriarch Spitting on Demon. Got him. So let's go down this Slumgar. Go down this Young Necro. Soul Guide Lanterns. What else do we cut, if anything? Maybe one Tombstalker? Do we even want... Grizzlebrand's actually probably bad in this matchup, come to think of it. The problem with Grizzlebrand is... Languish might be okay. The problem with Grizzlebrand is we can't activate it if our opponent has Orcish Bowmasters or if they have Shieldred, which is a lot of cards they have in their deck. All right, let's try something like this. Control mode. We'll keep this. I don't know if I'd say this end is good, but Soul Guide Lantern does disrupt our opponent from going infinite. Well, I mean, that game we actually had a Hellcarver Demon on the battlefield, which that by itself, that's an accomplishment. Hellcarver Demon's like next level jank. Unfortunately, there was a Yawgmoth, so we didn't get to do the thing, but... So this hand, what does this hand do? It plays defense a little bit with Soul Guide Lanterns. Heartless Summoning could do some ramping. We can fill the graveyard a bit, but we don't have reanimation at the moment. Undercity Sewers. Surveil. Hellcarver to the graveyard. Go. Opponent Blooming Marsh. And Undercity Sewers. Surveil. And let's put it on top and run out a Soul Guide Lantern. Oh no, we have to... Oh, that's super awkward. That's not... Wow, I've never had that happen before. Okay. Exile. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have played the Soul Guide Lantern. I guess I've never played it when the only card in our graveyard is a card we didn't want to exile. I was assuming that was a May, but apparently not. Opponent. Well, okay. It actually worked out for the best because they had a Soul Cauldron anyway. That's going to make our life tricky. Well, 1-2. Heartless Summoning. And Watery Grave. Untapped. Not like we really have any reanimation anyway. Opponent. Gonna crack the fetch. And Surveil. Oh, Mill's a Yogg. Alright, well, now everything can be a Yogg for our opponent. Beseju the Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. Well, we will grab a Surveil land. And mill a Polluted Delta. Yeah, I mean, I imagine our opponent's doing this so they can exile the Yogg. Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard top. We untap. We might just get combo killed, but I think we're going to do our thing. We don't really have a good way to avoid it anyway, so let's Garuda. The only other option would be try to Soul Guide the Yogg, but they can just, in response, exile it. Shieldred from our opponent's deck because we whiffed. Oh, but we did mill them into a Grist. And that's really good with Soul Cauldron too. Opponent, yeah, gonna Grist the Soul Cauldron, get the counter, blah, blah, blah. And has a Orcish Bowmasters. Oh yeah, that combo's so good. Yeah, I think our opponent can just blow up our board now. We need to find another Languish somehow, which is asking for a lot. Drain you for 2. The Auric Army getting a token, so good with Soul Cauldron. And Grist. Yeah, we basically just need to draw Languish now. like right now. Basically, oh no, are we dead right now? Are they courting for Yogg? Court for 3. Gets another grist. And gonna start blowing up stuff. Yeah. Blows up Shieldred. Passing. We draw Tome Scour. We gotta attack the grist, I think. Although this is bad no matter what. Opponent's gonna let the grist die. 1-2. Stalker. Soul Guide Lantern still can't really stop this because I can just activate it in response. The Soul Cauldron. Yeah, opponent's gonna get the Yogg. So now everything's a Yogg. Opponent draws. Technically, our opponent has 0 cards, but pretty deceptive considering the Soul Cauldron and what it's doing here. So opponent gonna make an insect. Like, they can activate all their creatures to make tokens, then they can sack all the tokens. As having all your creatures be a grist and a Yawgmoth is kind of insane. Opponent. Yeah, gonna kill our stuff, draw a bunch of cards. We played a Tombstalker though. There was actually a time when Tombstalker was legit. This was, I don't know, 2009 or something. So we're talking ages ago, but there was a time when Tombstalker, opponent's gonna Thoughtseize us, might as well. There was a time when Tombstalker was like a legit Magic the Gathering card. The Soul Cauldron's so good against us. Because I'm thinking like, okay, we could draw Reanimation and mill something with Otherworldly Gazer, Tome Scour, but really that doesn't even work because then they just snipe whatever we're trying to reanimate with Soul Cauldron. So I think we have to, I guess we have to hit a Languish to have any chance. Opponent getting in with their dorks. Or we need our opponent to misplay their Yogg or their Agatha Soul Cauldron, which apparently they're not going to do. Well, let's do a little surveilling. Otherworldly Gaze. Does Garuda even matter? Does it even do anything? They're just going to do the same thing again and again and again. Like we Garuda, we mill stuff. It's got to be Languish. Like casting Garuda, we make like a sort of big board, but it just doesn't matter because of this combo. They just shoot it all down. Languish? Swamp. That is the worst draw. Opponent's gonna block. Play a land. Pass the turn. And wow, layers of protection. Endurance shuffles our graveyard back in. And gets a Wall of Roots. Yeah, this is just a Soul Cauldron game. This is just Soul Cauldron absolutely going to town on us. I mean, there's a downside to not really being able to interact with things, I guess. Our deck, it's kind of doing the goldfish thing, but maybe it's not doing it effectively enough. Opponent. Yeah, gonna keep activating their grist creatures to turn on their creatures that are also Yawgmoths. Brutal. Opponent. Gonna snipe the Garuda. Yeah, I mean, we're staying in this game just because in theory we could draw Languish, and I don't even know if that matters now because this endurance is up to a 4/5. So I think we're essentially just dead. Like, no matter what we draw here, I think we're just dead. Eats the Garuda because might as well. Yeah, those creatures got a lot of abilities. A lot of text. Opponent's drawn, I think, 20 more cards than us now. Opponent passes. 18 more cards than us. We draw the Languish, but it's a turn too late. The Soul Cauldron has grown the stuff big enough that it doesn't even matter. Wow. All right. Next time. We got him. We got him right where we want him, Hellcarver Demon. We got him. This hand's horrible. We're mulliganing. Oh, this hand is slightly less horrible, but still pretty bad. We will mulligan again. All right, this hand will keep. At least this hand can get things in the graveyard and get them out of the graveyard. That's step 1. Bloodstained Mire. Crack Bloodstained Mire. I mean, we're just going to aggressively fire off this Tome Scour, see what happens. Tome Scour. Mill 5. Well, that's a Garuda. Okay, that's good. Oh, please don't surgical us, my God. So in theory, Garuda, reanimate. Hopefully hit something else, reanimate that. Oh, no. Oh, Bloodstained Mire, that could be Thoughtseize mana. Stomping Grounds. Okay, safe. We're safe for the moment, opponent. Abundant. Oh, it's a prowess deck. Okay. Gets a bobble. Yeah, plays a bobble. Yeah, sure. Okay, all this is fine. This is not going to stop us from hopefully doing something cool this turn. Oh, don't whiff Garuda. This deck has a lot of whiffy Garudas. We will play a Castle Lockway. And, well, here goes nothing. Goryo's Vengeance for Garuda. Mill 4. Well, I guess we take a Tombstalker. Busted. Party like it's 2010. Get in with Garuda. Hit ya. Can you beat it, opponent? Look at our demons. We're essentially demon tribal if you really think about it. That's what we got. Patriarch's Bidding in our sideboard. Hey, this is a good blocker for a slick shot show off. Not getting through this Tombstalker, are you? Slick shot. Not so slick now, are you? Grizzlebrand. Well, not exactly something good. Well, let's get in with the Tombstalker. Hit you for 5. Undercity Sewers. Do a little surveilling. Mill a Otherworldly Gaze. Pass the turn. Seek the Beast for Ren's Resolve Stomping Grounds. Sure. None of that stops the Tombstalker beats, and they don't have any threats, so I don't think they can kill us this turn. Goblin and Archomancer, okay. And Ren's Resolve. Metamorphose, Abundant Harvest. I mean, so we get to hit our opponent to 1 for sure. Oh. Graveyard. Keep the Goryo's Vengeance. Untap draw. See if we can hit a legend here. So play the land. Otherworldly Gaze. We need a legend. Oh, Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand is a legend. That counts. Graveyard. I think we win. Do we win? Are we winning with demons in Modern? Grizzlebrand, get it back. Go attacking. Huh. Turn 4 demon win. Well, no Hellcarving necessary. That went well, though. Should we bring in our Necropolis Regent or our Patriarch's Biddings? That was actually like a legit impressive game. Turns out turn 2 Garuda and actually hitting something off it is pretty good. All right, so our opponent's playing Gruul Prowess. So the languishes seem reasonable. I mean, like, go down a Young Necro, maybe go down a Tomb. This deck is hard to sideboard with. Let's go 1 Tombstalker. Ugh, 1 Heartless Summoning? Let's run it like that. Well, that's good. I think that'll work. The languages do seem like they could be important here. Our opponent's deck can deal a lot of damage, I assume, if they have a reasonable draw. They didn't really have a great draw last game. Well, this hand actually seems pretty good, oddly. We will keep. I mean, Tome Scour persist, and we even got a Languish if we get to it. All right, opponent, what do you got? Stomping Grounds. Suspend Search for Tomorrow. What else do you... Ragavan. Okay. Should have guessed... Always guessed the monkey. We draw another Goryo's Vengeance. Well, Polluted Delta, correct. Polluted Delta. Grab a island and do a little Tome Scouring. Go. We milled a Tassiger. Not great. That is not the legend we're looking for to go with our Goryo's Vengeance. That's the only creature we hit. Opponent, Bloodstained Mire. The thing about this matchup is our opponent's deck can be very fast, which is definitely a concern. DRC and a Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That is a problem. Opponent gets in with the monkey, hits us. Please don't steal a land. We need our lands, Ragavan. Be nice. Steals a land. Opponent passes. Goryo's Vengeance. Well, play a swamp and pass the turn. Oh, Ragavan is such an infuriating monkey. I swear. A stupid monkey, opponent. Seek the Beast to draw some cards. And so his opponent's off to a much better start than last game. Finds an Archomancer and a Scalding Tarn. Down to 1 card in hand, although it's kind of deceptive. They got 1 in exile. They got a DRC to surveil. So they're going to have more action than it looks. They got an Archomancer in exile. Opponent. An Archomancer. And going to go to combat. So I think we take the Ragavan hit. And then we'll surveil post. Just don't hit a land, please. Just not that. Again, stealing the lands. Oh no, Tome Scour. Okay, that's better. Opponent, gonna Questing Druid, I assume. Yes, Tormod's Crypt's an issue. All right, there's a Questing Druid. And wow, gonna Tome Scour just to get some triggers. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's gonna help turn on their Dragon Rage Channeler, Mills a Ragavan that they didn't want. Grape Shot, what? Grape Shot. So opponent's storming with a bunch of prowess creatures. It's probably Underworld Breach, I assume. This Languish could maybe be fast enough. Otherworldly Gaze. Oh, God almighty. Graveyard. I don't even know if we keep Tasigur. I don't think it's really enough. We need lands. The Ragavan stole our land. I think we need to upkeep Otherworldly Gaze because we really need to hit lands. So we're going to draw one. Okay, put on top. All right, so the idea here, I don't know if it's going to work, but we play the Undercity Sewers. We leave the Garuda on top. So the Ragavan's going to hit the Garuda. The Garuda doesn't do anything. Then we draw the untapped land, languish away the board, win. Hopefully our opponent can't grow this Questing Druid. If they can grow the Questing Druid bigger than a 4/4, this plan kind of falls apart and we lose. They only have 2 cards in hand. Okay. Well, that's a bunch more cards. Yeah, opponent's very good at drawing lots of cards with this deck. Yeah, that probably kills us. Opponent. Wow, and an Underworld Breach. Oh, now we're dead, right? Actually, are we dead? They don't have any mana. Oh, they have 1 land. Yeah, I think that puts us dead. We needed our opponent not to have that Tormod's Crypt, and we could have kind of done things. Yeah, this is just a much faster start for our opponent. Is Languish just too slow? Maybe it's just too slow. Manamorphose. Yeah, I think our opponent has it here. Underworld Breach always means GG. Well, not always, but almost always. Is Languish even realistic? Let's go down 1 Languish, even though it does get better with us being on the play. Go down 1 Languish, go down the Dragonlord Slumgar, a Tombs, 1 Grizzlebrand. Let's do it like that. Run it like that. Bring in the Soul Guide Lanterns. We get to play first, which should be good, hopefully. Come on. I really want to win a match with this deck, just 1. So we get turn 4 Wrath on the play. Do we want that to be our game plan? The rest of our hand does nothing, but a lot of our hands do nothing. You know what? I think we try it. We do a bunch of surveilling. Plus, remember, we know our opponents, we're in game 3. We know our opponent has Graveyard Hate. So it's not like the speed run, the reanimation plan is going to necessarily work anyway. Definitely milling a Hellcarver. That's a pretty good mill. If we just like top deck Persist, that would be pretty sweet. It'd be nice if we could dodge a Monkey here. Monkey's just so explosive, and we're not very good at stopping, and we don't stop it at all. Eventually we can block it, but that's about it. We need a way to donate the Heartless Summoning to kill the Monkey. Got him. Opponent seems to be, maybe they have DRC and Monkey, and they're trying to figure out which one to play. Goes with DRC. And there's a Bobble. Gonna do some surveilling. I mean, turn 4 Languish should be fast enough, right? Hopefully. You got a Crypt too. Top decking Persist would be hilariously awesome. Opponent knows what we're drawing. Is it Persist? Otherworldly Gaze. Well, Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. We can actually do quite a bit of surveilling here. Opponent Bloodstained Mire hits us. Are they just passing? Oh God. All right. Well, Misty Rainforest cracked it. Undercity Sewers. Now we're actually surveilling for a Persist. Ooh, Oragorio's Vengeance to the graveyard. Otherworldly Gaze. All right, that is a Persist. Graveyard. Put on, I think do we keep Tasigur? Put on top. We're going for it. We have no fear. So 1/2, Persist, Hellcarver Demon. Here we come, opponent. Here we come. Did you build your deck to beat a Hellcarver Demon? That's the real question. We'll play Polluted Delta and pass the turn. So now we decide if we want the Tasigur, we don't crack the fetch. If we don't want the Tasigur, we can't crack the fetch. Currently Unholy Heat does not kill Hellcarver. Seek the Beast. Surveils, although they might be able to turn it on. Let's see what they hit. Oh, getting in this attack would be so sweet. Opponent finds Ragavan in Tormod's Crypt. Well, that doesn't turn on an Unholy Heat. Do we get in the attack? Is it going to happen? Opponent, Tormod's Crypt. I mean, Tormod's Crypt is annoying for the future for sure. Surveils Manamorphose. Another instant, though, does not turn on an Unholy Heat. Abundant Harvest. Ooh, that is going to turn on the Unholy Heat. Reveals Ragavan. Okay. Oh, well, life is bad. We were so close. Opponent gets in. I think we crack. I mean, we're going to be wrathing this turn pretty much no matter what. So opponent hits us. The question is, do we want to draw Tasigur? Another Tormod's Crypt. Well, our graveyard's really locked down. That's for sure. Opponent passes. Yeah, I think we draw it. So we draw Tasigur. We play a Twara. Do we just play Tasigur? That might be better. And then maybe they commit more to the board. Yeah, that might actually be better. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I think we crack the fetch. Let's crack the fetch. Undercity Sewers. Surveil. I'll keep the Bloodstained Mire. We are just going to hardcast these at some point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play a Tassiger. Pass the turn. Languish looks really weird in this deck, but Languish doesn't kill our creatures, which is kind of cute. Still worried about Underworld Breach. If our opponent finds a breach, I don't know if we just straight up die, but it's bad. We're hoping our opponent plays the questing druid, and then next turn we get the actual Hard Wrath, and we have another land, and it's a fetch land, which can get us Surveil land, and if we find one more land, then we can just hardcast Hellcarver the turn after. Oh, yeah, I guess that's the game. Opponent gets and hits us. Blood Moon. Well, I'm not allowed to get upset about Blood Moon because I love Blood Mooning people. It is really brutal here. We have 3 swamps in our deck, but I guess that's the downside of fetching out all these Surveil lands. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, let's attack. The problem is, so we attack. If our opponent doesn't block, then they get to start getting in for 5. There's just no math that wins us this race. If we don't attack, we stop the Ragavan, but then they just hit us for 3 each turn. The only way we could win there is if our opponent for some reason chumped with the Ragavan, and they did not. So, all right. Didn't get the match win, but we're getting closer maybe? Ish. We are mulliganing, like usual, with this deck. Ooh. Okay, this one we'll keep. We will keep this one. We are a good surveil away from being off to the races. Let's just surveil Valakut. Okay, let's just surveil Grizzlebrand, maybe. Or like Garuda, that'd be sweet. Dragonlord Slumgar. Well, Undercity Sewers. Surveil. Hi. I mean, I think we have to keep Persist. This gives us multiple options off this Tome Scour. Can hit a legend, can hit a non-legend. In business either way. Unfortunately, our opponent's deck looks scary. Valakut usually means bad things. We're going to find out. Is it possible? Is it possible to win a game with Hellcarver, or a match? Well, there's a Hellcarver and a Grizzlebrand. Is it possible to win a match with Hellcarver Demon in Modern? Opponent, right of the Ilsen Grove. Yeah, and there's an extra land drop. Sure. It's a bounce land, picks it up. The question is, what do we do now? So we have 2 plans. Plan 1, we Grizzlebrand, we attack, we draw a bunch of cards, we make a land drop, try to set up for next turn. Plan 2 is we just reanimate the Hellcarver, hope it lives, hope we live. Try to get in a hit next turn. I mean, I think we have to Grizzlebrand. Well, all right. Glorious Vengeance, Grizzlebrand, draw 7 cards. Boom. Go to combat, hit you for 7. Island, Otherworldly Gaze. Graveyard, top, I think. Yeah, put it on top. I don't think we draw again. I think we just pass and discard a bunch to hand size. So we discard Slumgar, Garuda, Tassiger, land, Primeval Titan. Hooray! Getting in a Grizzlebrand hit isn't that good anymore, is it? We're getting with a Grizzlebrand, just doesn't do anything. I mean, it kind of set up for next turn, but not for a win next turn. And this Primeval Titan is the win next turn. That's going to be the issue, is our opponent can win this. Wow. Jeez. Our opponent can win next turn and we can't. We can't get this Dryad. So I think this deck, my feedback on this deck so far is, I mean, this is essentially a meme or dream deck, right? Maybe we gotta reframe some of these infamous small Japanese tournament decks as meme or dream decks. I feel like the plan of playing essentially 0 interaction might be a little bit too much, because it's turning out like we've done the thing with the deck a few times, and the thing is, it's not always enough to actually win the game. And that's what we're running into here. Like, we can do the thing, like Goryo's Vengeance, another Grizzlebrand. The thing just doesn't win. I think our best bet, so we can Goryo's Vengeance, steal the Primeval Titan, but it doesn't have haste. Goryo's Vengeance, Grizzlebrand hits ya, still die. We need like a miracle. So what we need, okay, here's our game plan. Goryo's Vengeance, the Grizzlebrand. Go to combat attack. We're gonna get in 2 Grizzlebrand attacks and still lose, I think, which is kind of wild, but draw 7. We need another Grizzlebrand, another Goryo's Vengeance. No. So our hope was, if we get another Grizzlebrand Goryo's Vengeance, we could reanimate the Grizzlebrand during our opponent's turn. Even that wouldn't really get us there. To steal the Primeval Titan and keep it from attacking, or steal the Dryad, but even that's not really enough. Sheoldred's very awkward. seems like it would be cute, but we can't get it with Garuda. Do we have anything? So Soul Guide's not good. Slumgar's like kind of good-ish with a focus on the ish. The Necropolis region, I don't know if that's good, period. I don't know. How did someone, I'm very curious. How did someone end up with Necropolis region as their sideboard plan? How did someone remember that this card existed? I haven't seen this card since Return to Ravnica, I don't think. I didn't even see it that, I mean, it was spoiled, but I don't think I ever saw it play. Have you ever seen this card see play? I'm very curious. I don't think I've seen it see play in Commander or any format ever. Sower's like okay-ish. It could steal a Dryad. I mean, I guess we just gotta be faster. It feels like, so I think my biggest criticism of this deck, we're on the play. I was almost thinking we just pass in this card to hand size, but instead, you know what? We got Surveillance. We're gonna see how strong Surveillance really are. Can we just surveil our way into something to reanimate on turn 2? So Bloodstained Mire, go. This is maybe the biggest surveil in the history of this match. Oh, come on now. Relic of Progenitus. I mean, it could still work. It could still work. Because we're going to have the fetch land in the graveyard. Bloodstained Mire, crack it. Opponents can exile the fetch. Okay, the biggest surveil in the history of the match. Wait. Undercity Sewers. Tombstock. Look, you know what? That's not the dream world, but we are not too picky here. We will persist a Tombstalker. Look at that. That is a 4/4 flyer on turn 2. Look out, Modern. It is like a situationally better Tarmogoyf. We did. It only took us 3 cards and a Surveil and a Persist. We're doing it. We broke it. Can you beat our Tombstalker? Oh, I kind of miss when Tombstalker was good. Is there any chance Tombstalker actually goes all the way? We need 5 turns of attacking. That seems unlikely against Amulet Titan. More Persists. Well, you know what? I know I said the last one was the biggest surveil in the history of the match, but actually this one is even bigger. Well, okay, Otherworldly Gaze. Otherworldly Gaze is better than nothing. Although the Relic of Progenitus makes it awkward. Get in, hit ya. Down to 16. So lesson number 1, literally every deck's going to have Graveyard Hate. Do not expect that there will not be Graveyard Hate, because literally every deck has it. Opponent exiles their Polluted Delta. If they tap out, there's a chance we could reanimate something next turn. Opponent's decks, they got the Richard mana base. They're like a Gruul deck that's playing a mono blue mana base, leaning on the Dryad of the Ilsengrove to fix it for him. So I think this deck, my criticism would be, like, it is cool. Oh, they're not going to tap out? Well, that's too bad. That's Otherworldly Gaze. Well, Graveyard, top. I mean, I guess we're going to try to cast a Hellcarver Demon. I think that's the plan now. I don't know how realistic that is, but play the land, go to combat, hit you with the Tombstalker. If our opponent just does nothing for a while, and then an even longer while, we might actually be able to do it. Down to 12. So what I was trying to say, the sideboard of this deck is pretty jank. I think that is my biggest criticism. Like, playing oh, that's a blocker. Abriel Gracer's actually busted here. And there's a bounce land to pick up a Mycosynth Gardens, replace the Mycosynth Gardens. Opponent gonna try to exile Otherworldly Gaze. Well, let's do a little surveilling. Okay, I think this kind of works. So graveyard, top. We might be able to get around the relic depending on, we need to mill a legend. If we mill a legend off the Tome Scour, so we Tome Scour ourselves, we do not mill a legend. All right, that's unfortunate. Well, go to combat. Get in with the Tombstalker. Opponent going to block. And I guess we just pass. If we milled a legend, what we could have done is we could cast the Persist. In response to the Persist, we could Goryo's Vengeance, get back the legend. Now our opponent has 2 relics, which is going to be even harder. Simic Growth Chamber. I mean, they're just slowly building towards Primeval Titan mana. Oh no, Dryad of the Ilsengrove. Yeah, that's not good. And the Halimar Depths, getting stuff set up. We need 3 more turns of attacking. 3 more. But next turn they have Primeval Titan mana. And they're looking at their top 3, putting them back in the we're going to kill you order, most likely. Fetch land would, oh, Garuda. Man, if you were one card higher in our deck, you would have done it last turn, maybe. Well, get in with the Tombstalker. And yeah, I mean, I guess we just pass. There's no sense in even trying to persist here. Gonna exile a card. If they exile and then just exile everything. Useless clicks. All right, gets to take Numa. Sure. Untaps. Do you have Primeval Titan? If so, I think you just win. Copying Simic. Opponent likes to like tap their lands and play a land midway through, which is interesting. Well, I mean, that's going to find a Primeval Titan for next turn. And I don't think we can stop a Primeval Titan next turn from killing us. And we can't do anything this turn because all the relics. They have relics for 2 relics is really, really bad. And since they have the Dryad means Valakuts are on. Found it. A Dwara. Oh, we're going to get him to 4? Come on, deck. Heartless Summoning. Not the most opportune time for that. We'll hit ya. Cast an Endurance. Boy, they have so much graveyard hate. So much graveyard hate. Yeah, that does it. So opponent Endurances, shuffles in our graveyard, chump blocks. Well, I can see why Tombstalker kind of fell out of favor. It turns out getting down a relatively big fly, like a Sarah Angel-sized flyer on turn 2, just not really enough in 2024 Modern. Yeah, now they get to get the Primeval Titan, and that does do it, right? Primeval Titan plays it. Yeah, Valakut, that's 12. Yeah, I mean, even if we're not dead, we're dead, because we don't have a way to really get around this with the double relics. I mean, we go to 2 for sure, but we might just be literally dead here. About it. Cash is in the relic. And finds another land, and literally dead here. All right. Well, that means we got one more shot. One more shot for Hellcarver Demon to prove it's a dream and not a meme. It is, I think, officially meme or dream time. We are in the last round of our league. We are trying to see if it's possible. Oh, we got to keep this. Trying to see if it's possible to win in Modern with Hellcarver Demon. With a infamous small Japanese tournament deck. I mean, I guess we just show our opponent what's up. Watery Grave, untap, Tome Scour. Mill, something good. We got both of our reanimation spells. All right, we found a Grizzlebrand. That counts as something good. Grizzlebrand's actually pretty excellent because that draws a bunch of cards that we can then use to set up Persist the next turn. How can this go wrong? Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize most obviously. Mishra's Bauble. And cracks it, takes peep at their own deck. Leovalde. Oh no, that's black mana. That actually, it's probably a prowess deck, right? Stomping Grounds. Untap down to 17. Exiles Castle Lockwain. Otherworldly Gaze. Well, we will, let's see, Bloodstained Mire. Crack it for a Swamp. That's main deck relic too. Boy, Modern players are like really prepared for graveyards. Grizzlebrand. Gain some life. Draw 7. Oh, the question is, do we draw 7 more? We probably shouldn't. That would be at 10 against presumably an aggro deck. So Grizzlebrand goes away. We discard Hellcarver Demon, Slumgar, Otherworldly Gaze. Well, I mean, that was a good turn 2. Is it a turn 2 that wins us the game? I can't believe they're playing main deck Relic. That is so wild. Like, our deck's doing the thing, right? Like, if our opponent wasn't just playing main deck Relic for some reason, if they weren't just playing main deck Relic for some reason, we would be able to just persist back the Hellcarver Demon and do our thing. The good news is we might still be okay, because what we can do here is we can play a Swamp, exile a bunch of cards, to Tassiger, get down to Tassiger. Yeah, I think we just do it. We can play an island, and we just persist the Hellcarver. Opponent's gonna pop the relic, I'm sure. But it gets a relic off the table, and they can't be playing that many relics in their main deck. There's just no way. So, all right, graveyard dealt with, but we have an Otherworldly Gaze. We have a Persist still. We got a Tasker on the battlefield. Opponent's at 9. Gets a Surveil land. So we might be okay. Oh, is this another Scapeshift deck? Come on. We just want the match win. We want to know if we can win one match with this deck. Opponent, Bloodstained. We've won some games with it, but we have not won a match. Bloodstained Mire for our opponent passes. We draw Tombstaka. Well, okay, so other Willigays, mill some cards. We would love to hit another Hellcarver. That would be sweet. That is a Hellcarver. So graveyard, graveyard, graveyard. Hit you with Tassiger. I mean, maybe our opponent just wins the game this turn. And then we persist, Hellcarver Demon. Persist looks pretty sweet in the old border. Why is it a Kithkin? That is pretty clearly a Kithkin. Pluto Delta. All right, opponent. That's what we got. Can you stop it? Can you kill us? Opponent goes to 4. I really hope not. It would be sweet if the answer was no. Are we going to win a game through main deck Relic? That would be sweet. I mean, technically we have 2 lethal threats. Oh, but our opponent has the One Ring. And gonna draw a card with the One Ring. Oh boy, I forgot how much I hated the One Ring. I mean, I love it, but it makes for the most miserable games when you play against it, especially when you're trying to Hellcarver Demon. We just want a Hellcarver Demon, Magic Gods. Well, if we lose this, I'm gonna be so sad. Crack the land, get a Surveil land, mill a Heartless Summonings. Draw a Tome Scour. Well, we don't bother attacking. We will bother casting a Tome Scour, mill some cards. We will play a Swamp and Tombstalker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get down the Tombstalker. And pass the turn, because our opponent has a One Ring. I can't deal combat damage through protection, unfortunately. Opponent. I mean, this is about the deck. Best our deck has worked, which is sweet. Whether or not this leads to us winning the game, I imagine they just keep playing One Rings until they win, which is kind of depressing. But, I mean, that's part of the One Ring. You just play a whole bunch of them. Ironically, flavor-wise. The real power of the One Ring is you just play another one the next turn. Doesn't make any sense, but that's how it works, don't it? Do you have another One Ring? Looks like no, right to the Ilson Grove. Okay. Bloodstained Mire. Does this actually let our opponent win? Okay, hits the Tombstalker. Cracks their fetch land down to 2. Gets a Dwarven Mine. So they can kill the Tombstalker. Can they stop the Hellcarver Demon too? I mean, the other problem for our opponent is they also have this One Ring, which has 2 counters. Oh, and scoops it up. Well, they didn't let us hit him with the Hellcarver, but we got there. What do we have that's good against Scape Shift? Is it Necropolis Regent? I don't think so. Not this. This sideboard, I will say, this is very likely the worst sideboard that I've ever seen. I'm not sure I've ever, like, you know those Arena Meme or Dream decks that have no sideboard? I always say, just play any sideboard. Your deck's going to be better if you play just anything in the sideboard. Throw random cards in there. This deck took that lesson to heart because there are, I mean, so Soul Guide Lantern, legit sideboard card. Languish, I see what we're doing with it, right? Like, it's not the best Wrath, but I can see the argument for it being the best Wrath for the deck. Even, I don't know if I wouldn't say I agree with the argument, but I can see why I would build this deck and put Languish as the Wrath in the sideboard, because you're like, okay, it doesn't kill my Garuda, doesn't kill Hellcarver. It's like a one-sided Wrath. 4-mana Plague Wind, that's pretty sweet. So I can see where that's going. Sower of Temptation, another Slumgar. Yeah, like if I squint super hard, I'm kind of like, okay, I could maybe get value out of those. Once we get up here though, like Patriarch's Bidding, I feel like this is kind of a main deck. I don't know what this, like the softness of the deck is to Graveyard Hate, right? The problem we have is everyone's running Graveyard Hate and that's keeping us from doing our thing. I don't think more Mass Reanimation is going to solve that issue. Like it's not going to let our deck beat its bad matchups, which is kind of what you want your sideboard to do. So I don't really understand the logic of Patriarch's Bidding. I could see a deck that was like a straight up demon deck, which we're kind of close to being a demon deck with some like weird delve stuff thrown in. But I could see a deck with Patriarch's Bidding being the main deck. Like maybe we're actually a Patriarch's Bidding deck. Shieldred is just really awkward because it doesn't work with Garuda. Necropolis Regent, that's one that really gets me. Like, why? How? Who? What? Where? Like, Necropolis Regent, I just don't understand why you would ever put that in your sideboard. All that said, after all that rambling, we're just going to run it back. After all that ranting. But I mean, that's kind of the issue, right? If you look at our sideboarding through this entire league, we have had a lot of games where we just really don't sideboard just because we don't really have anything to sideboard. There's just nothing there that's worth sideboarding in. Oh, we got to keep it. I don't know if it's going to work, but we got to keep it. If our opponent does not find Graveyard Hate, it could work, especially if we hit another land off this Undercity Sewers. Opponent leading on the Surveil land. So we need to hit a land, and then we need to mill something and reanimate it. That is the first step. Well, we're going to be able to do a lot of milling. Undercity Sewers. Is it a land? No. All right, Tombstalker Graveyard. Oh, well, maybe we just don't even hit a land. Bloodstain Maya. And, Magda. Oh, it's this new Scape Shift deck that's trying to use the crime stuff. All right, can we just draw land, please? Really, Magic Gods, please, please, please. We'll be good all the way till next Christmas? No. All right, well, I mean, I guess if there's upside from this, it's that we get to discard to hand size and put a Griselbrand in the graveyard. That's something. The bad news is, without lands, nothing really happens. It is hard to win a game of Magic without any lands. Oh, I thought this might be the one. Opponent Valakut. I thought this might be the one where we get the match win. There's still time. There's still time. Opponent gets in for 2, hits us. And passes. We draw a beautiful, beautiful land. Oh, well, okay. Not the most beautiful land. It's a little tapped. But we will play an Undercity Sewers. We will keep an island. All right. Pass the turn. I think I misplayed this game, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think we should have fired off a Tome Scour just to support the Tasigur. I think that was a relatively big mistake. We should have just fired off a Tome Scour in the dark just to turn on Tasigur faster. Opponent gets in with the Magda. Hits us. Because we could have had a Tasigur on the board by now. I guess we can have it on the board by now. But we should have played in a way to cast Tome Scour last turn before we surveilled. So we could get a Tasker on the board this turn. While playing Island, we will Goryo's Vengeance. Griselbrand. Please don't Endurance us. Wow. Okay, that worked. Go to combat. And I mean, we got to draw some cards. We can't pass this up. And then Tome Scour ourselves. Can we draw again? That's so greedy. But we don't have it. Our hand is pretty bad. If we draw, you know what? We got to draw again. Draw again. Down to 9. All right. Well, we still didn't hit one. That's also awkward. Well, pass the turn. Discard a roughly infinite number of cards. Opponent cracks. We were hoping to hit another Goryo's Vengeance for next turn. Commercial District for our opponent. We are definitely in danger to dying to Valakut here. Opponent mills the Stomping Grounds. Yeah, without having a Griselbrand to hit next turn. Uh-oh. Ooh, and a Bolt. And a Treasure. Okay. Well, we are definitely in danger of dying next turn. Persist. Oh no. Can you not undo? We don't want to discard Persist. We want to keep Persist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Discard a bunch of cards. We got to keep a Persist. Opponent. Oh, yeah, they're going to turn it on. Commercial District. Mills a land. Yeah, we need to hit another Goryo's Vengeance, and we didn't. Hits us down to 4. Well, that is especially scary with that Valakut over there. Play Castle Lockway. Play Tasigur. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get down the Tasigur. Persist the Hellcarver Demon. Pass the turn. Dead to Valakut if our opponent can have 2 mountains enter. Unfortunately, not guaranteed to win even if they don't. Although we can Otherworldly's Gaze to see if we can hit another Goryo's Vengeance. That would let us win next turn. We're so close. So opponent needs 1 more mountain to turn on the Valakut. Pick your poison. Oh, all right. There goes our Hellcarver. Ooh, so that means we're not going to win this turn. So I think we're pretty much all in on surveilling for opponent's going to attack. All right. Well, I mean, we will block, kill the Magda, and then what? Lightning Bolt Tasigur? Well, I think we got to find Goryo's Vengeance. I think that's our game plan. We'll see if we can make it work. Opponent. Tapping a bunch of mana during combat still, probably unintentionally. Wish. Well, I mean, I'm glad our opponent's wishing here instead of wishing for something that wins the game. Wish to Lightning Bolt our face to 1. Oh, do you just have triple bolt? No. All right, they hit us to 1. Well, Otherworldly Gaze. Vengeance? Oh, that's a vengeance. That's a vengeance. That's a vengeance. They didn't kill the Tassiger. Are we going to win? Okay, on top, yes. Wait a minute. Are we doing it? Is this happening? 1, 2, Goryo's Vengeance. Grizzlebrand. And opponent scoops it up! We did it! All right, we broke it. The solid 1-4. My goodness. Okay, so this deck, all right, let's do the wrap up of this deck. Let's do this wrap up. So this deck, we went 1-4 in a league. We did have 2 other game wins in the matches that we didn't win before we won that last one. So we did win some games along the way. So here's the issue with the deck. The plan of the deck, it's pretty cute, right? Like the plan can do some powerful things. Like, let's say your opponent didn't exist. If there were no opponents, there was no graveyard hate. If you could just goldfish, the deck can do some kind of powerful things. We did get to see a Hellcarver demon like pop off, sack all of our stuff, and actually win a game. We also got to see several Hellcarver demons die. Apparently this card is scarier than I would have thought. I mean, I guess look at him, he looks kind of scary, but apparently it's scarier to opponents than I would have expected because a lot of opponents really focused on getting rid of Hellcarver Demon and managed to kill it. So it was game winning when we got in the attack, but that didn't happen as often as we wanted to. The issue with the deck, it's kind of like 2 or 3-fold. So issue number 1, the big one, graveyard hate's kind of a concern. Like, we lost a lot of games to our opponents just sticking graveyard hate and us having a handful of persists and Goryo's Vengeance. Our deck does a courtesy shout out to the possibility of graveyard hate with Heartless Summoning, with the idea being, haha, we like play Heartless Summoning, we'll just ramp into our big stuff. In practice, with only 3 Heartless Summonings and with only 22 lands, it never really happened in practice. We didn't, at least in this league, we did not draw a lot of Heartless Summonings. When we did, they just died. It never really did anything. So that's kind of issue number 1. We get hard wrecked by Graveyard Hate. One thing to consider with this deck, with the mana base, I should say the original mana base of this deck was just all basic. So I threw in like some modern playable lands rather than just playing the all basic mana base. But playing the deck, Cabal Coffers is intriguing to me. Like, our deck doesn't need a lot of blue mana. The only blue mana is really Otherworldly Grace, Tome Scour, so we could fetch out a single Undercity Azores, Watery Grave, cast all of our blue cards, and then we could play an all swamp mana base. We could also have Urborg to support it, and then maybe that's how we could actually just ramp into our big things is Coffers, Urborg. So I'm intrigued by that possibility to help be our backup plan over Heartless Summoning. Like, rather than trying to play Heartless Summoning, toss in a couple more lands, Cabal Coffers, Urborg, just hard cast our stuff that way. So that's one possibility. Problem number 2 with the deck is just like, it's really awkward with our reanimation package. I don't know if we get something in Modern Horizons 3 that's going to fix this, but like, we saw this in some of our early games, especially where we'd like have Goryo's Vengeance in hand, but we'd mill Hellcarvers and Tombstalkers, or we'd mill our Hellcarvers and Tombstalkers, and we'd have a persist in hand, and we'd end up milling over like our Grizzlebrands or our Tassigers. So that was kind of awkward that like not all of our reanimation works with everything. So it's like we're a combo deck, but there's some inconsistency because our combo only works with half of our combo pieces, if that kind of makes sense. So I wish there was a way that like we could just reanimate whatever we wanted to with our Goryo's Vengeance or persist, and we didn't have this odd mix of like, when we mill, we're like holding our breath. Not only do we need to hit a creature, it needs to be a non-legendary creature. It needs to be a legendary creature. So in a world where we could like Goryo's Vengeance, Hellcarver Demon, or persist a Grizzlebrand or a Dragonlord Slumgar, that would be a lot better. So that's problem number 2. Problem number 3 we kind of talked about in the video, but good God, the sideboard. Just, it doesn't do what you want a sideboard to do in general. Like, in theory, you want your sideboard to improve your bad matchups most of the time, and this does it very, very slightly, I guess, with a little bit of Soul Guide Lantern, which would probably be better is maybe Leylines of the Void, but whatever, they're fine. Languish is kind of a shout out to, like, opposing creature decks. The rest of the sideboard, though, feels like very random cards. And if you go back and watch our matches, we had a lot of games where we sideboarded in like 1 or 2 cards just because we didn't have anything worth bringing in. So I think we would be in a much better spot if we dropped Necropolis Regent, Slumgars, Sower of Temptation, Patriarch Bidding, Shieldrids, and just played normal sideboard stuff, Chalices and, Thought Seizes and so forth, removal spells. We don't have any real removal in the deck. There is Languish, which is kind of removal, sort of. but the deck really could have used like a Fatal Push to kill a Ragavan. Because if you look at our curve, like our creatures really start, I guess there's one Young Necromancer at 5, but really it's 6 and 7 drops. Speaking of 6 and 7 drops, it's also really weird to be playing a Garuda deck that's playing a bunch of 7 drops. Even the Shieldreds in our sideboard are 7 mana. So there's times when we like actually did Garuda, but had to get like a random creature from our opponent's graveyard because we mill all odd cards from our deck rather than evens for Garuda. So this deck, I don't know what to say about it. We did get some Hellcarver Demon wins and one match win with the deck, but it's very, very scattered. It kind of feels like either someone really liked demons and they put all the demons they own together in a deck and made the best of it, or maybe, I don't even know, maybe someone's just playing with the cards that they own. It's definitely very scattered, very, very scattered, but it is pretty cool when it works. And even though we had a pretty bad record, we only won 20% of the time going 1-4. I did have fun playing it just because we're playing a lot of janky cards. Like Hellcarver Demon is max jank. Tombstalker's pretty nostalgic. So even as we were often going down in flames, at least it was fun and we played some weird games along the way. So I would say definitely wouldn't recommend playing this deck. And honestly, there's really powerful reanimation strategies in Modern. I'm not even sure from a competitive perspective it's worth trying to rebuild this deck or fix this deck. Like, probably just play one of the good Goryo's Vengeances decks instead of whatever we're doing here. But if you want to take the Hellcarver Demon challenge, I mean, the deck isn't the worst way to try to get in the Hellcarver hit. And this deck does have me intrigued by Hellcarver because we won games with it and our opponents were really afraid of it. So maybe that card's a bit of a sleeper. But anyway, that is Hellcarver Demons pile from infamous small Japanese tournament, Meme or Dream for Modern. That's been our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed us getting smacked around and trying to do Hellcarver Demon things. And I will talk to you soon.